Welcome back to more World of Warships, everyone. It's been a while since I've posted. More important things in life came up, and I haven't been playing a lot of World of Warships, but I have still been playing. Today, I'm excited to show you guys a game that I did in the IJN Fuso. This map here is actually one of my least favorite maps in the entire game, especially as a battleship. I really hate that it forces you into open water. There isn't a ton of cover. But you're going to see in this match that we actually can do okay with that, and if you're smart in open water, you can be very successful, and if you're foolish in open water, like some of my opponents are in this game, you can see that you can also get a massive ass kicking. So starting off, I'm immediately just going to aim towards this island on the right, kind of bear that direction. That gives me freedom to go left or right depending on what I want to do. I'm detected, and so is the enemy Fuso. And you can see here, he's got his guns trained on me, and he's actually turning to expose the broadside of his ship so he can unload all his firepower on me. That was a horrible shot. I've been playing a lot of the Bismarck recently, so I'm used to the shells traveling slow, and all I get is one ricochet. His shots land, doesn't do much damage, about 2,000-3,000. The October Revolution pops up, as does the Unshine. At this point, I decide that I'm going to stop, because I'm angled pretty well to the Ismail, and I'm angled pretty well to the enemy Fuso as well. Now, the Ismail on the other side is not angled well. He is showing flat broadside, which in open water is extremely foolish. And you're going to see here he's going to get punished for it. Takes 4386 damage. Not too bad for him yet. And as these guns reload, he clearly is not paying attention to me, or doesn't care, something along those lines. And these shots are going in now. Now, he slowed down a little bit, so these shots are going to be a tad ahead of the middle of his ship, but they are going to be plenty good. And 2 penetrations and a Citadel strike, and that Citadel strike takes off a good 15,000 of his health. Now, the Ismail still hasn't learned his lesson, and I have come to teach. This time he sped up slightly again. And Soviet battleships have a citadel that sits above the waterline, and it is very easy to inflict big damage on it at long range, and there's another 10,000 damage on the Ismail.
All stations, reporting the position of a strategic target.
And at this point, the Ismail is in a really bad position, and I'm encouraging my teammates to fire on him and hopefully kill him. These shots also look pretty good. The dispersion, maybe not the best vertically, pretty good horizontally though, but I get unlucky and only do 3,366 damage. There are smoke screens all over the place, so I really don't want to push here, and to be honest, given the Fuso's range, I'm very content just sitting here and firing long range. At this point, the Ismail seems to have learned his lesson, and he's turning his bow in. I'm going to take one more shot. And you can see here the friendly West Virginia turned the broadside of his ship to 3 enemy battleships and is just getting pounded. I think he was at 40,000 health a minute ago. He's down to 21,000. Now, we still don't have a ship capping A yet, and I'm pretty confident there's a submarine in that cap. And if you just noticed, you saw the little surface from the submarine come up there, and I'm actually going to drop some depth charges right on that spot. Now, the Oktoberskaya Revolucia is sailing pretty flat broadside. However, he's not the most attractive target I have here. And looks like I made one contact with the depth charges.
Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes astern.
There is another submarine sonar ping. That West Virginia is trying to turn away. The Oktoberskaya Revolucia is shooting at my somewhat exposed broadside. I'm going to take shots at the Fuso. He's showing me plenty of broadside, but unfortunately, I didn't fire good there. I missed, and it was Not the greatest salvo I've thrown out there. At this point, it's getting a little hot, so I'm ready to turn and reset myself, and I'm going to pop my first heal. Now, you'll notice that Ismail over there is still sailing on the same vector that he was. He's still going behind that island. But this Fuso's pushing into the cap, and I really don't want him to help take that cap, so I'm going to start unloading on the Fuso. I don't think he knows the U-69 is there. And only 1,000 damage on the Fuso broadside, which is rather disappointing.
Requesting support.
And at this point, I'm deciding whether I want to shoot at the Ismail or shoot at the Fuso. And in hindsight, it really shouldn't have even been a question. The Fuso is the better target here. He's in the cap, and he is capping, and he's pretty much flat broadside, and he's paying no attention to me, which is why I'm able to turn the broadside of my ship to him here. I'm going to look at the Ismail again, but eventually I decide to shoot the Fuso. And it's gotten a little cooler, so I am going to turn around and bow in slightly, but I'm going to slow down and almost stop. And I took out one of his main guns.
Fire on the designated target.
And also dealt about 10,000 damage to him. Now the Fuso's aware of me again. He seems pretty unhappy. But just like he did very early in the match, he's going to turn and expose the entire side of his ship to get all of his guns firing. Not only that, he's going to damn near stop to do it. How do we think this is going to turn out for him? Not well. 14,000 damage and a Citadel hit inflicted. Could have been much worse.
All stations.
At this point, he's having his oh shit moment. He's turning to run. I'm going to fire up the spotter just in case there are torpedoes incoming. The spotter might take them. He's a sitting duck at this point. Shots out from the front, 2 guns. And that's all she wrote for the Fuso. So now, I'm going to turn my attention to this Anshan, who just sunk our U-69. You can see the Ismail here is wanting to come back into the action, so I want to be really careful not to give him any broadside. But you're going to notice that October Revolution up in the top corner is going to get a look at my broadside here eventually. And he hits me there. I do decent amounts of damage to the Anshan. At this point, I really just want to sit. And that October Revolution is taking pops at my exposed broadside. And here, the first thing I want to do is sink the Anshan, because the Anshan really needs to go away so we can make the cap. But I also have another decision to make, which is that, do I want to expose the side of my ship to the Ismail, or do I want to expose the side of my ship to the October Revolution? Down goes the Anshan.
Enemy destroyer blown
And
up.
given that the Ismail is a lot closer, I really would prefer to expose the side of my ship to the October Revolution over there. And also the fact that he just had a shot at the broadside of my ship and he didn't do much damage. Now this Ismail, I am considering turning my 3rd gun on him.
Spotter returning to ship.
But that turns out to be completely unnecessary because 3 of the 4 shots that came out of the front 2 guns strike the Citadel.
Enemy battleship sunk.
And down goes the Ismail. Now that October Revolution is going to push into this cap. My initial thought was I wanted to go brawl
Fire
it,
on the enemy warship.
given how I have an extra battleship. But the Fuso does not do well in brawls, typically. So I decide that I'm going to sit at this 8 kilometer range and just try to get most of my guns on him and deal damage. And you'll see here he exposes the side of his ship to the other battleship off to my right there, which I believe is a Novo. It is. And he's angling against me. But really, given the position of that Novo, it's very hard for him to angle properly against both of us. And he is healing. As you'll see here, he is turning. And this is what you don't do in a battleship. He is turning and he is giving me flat broadside at 7 kilometers. And I just am patient and wait for him to do it. The shots are out. And unfortunately, RNG was not on my side there. It was still 12,000 damage, but that could have absolutely deleted him. Luckily, the Novo does delete him.
Proceed to capture that
A
area.
devastating strike there that was absolutely well deserved. And that's about all she wrote for this match. We're going to cap A here, and then our team on the other side of the map is going to finish off the New Mexico, and then eventually is going to get the Ranger. So that's all for this match. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm hoping I can start uploading a bit more now.